Hi y'all, doing a quick video. I'm making dinner. I'm going to try and get it done in less than, hopefully I can get it done in 10 minutes, but we'll see. Maybe 15 minutes, but we're going to make a whole good dinner. We're going to hit all four corners. We're going to get our starch, our vegetable, our meat, and our bean. So, here's our vegetable. We have some asparagus here, and I'll prep you through all the stuff I have. These are frozen asparagus that I had. I thawed them out, and what's cool is it's going to go fast because I actually thawed this stuff out the night before. So this is some asparagus. It was frozen, but it's pretty much thawed out now. I have some green beans here that were frozen that are now, this is all stuff because I do, I prep, so I make it ahead of time. This is some pork that I made ahead of time. So it's cooked and ready to go. It just needs to be heated up. Here I had some frozen rice. Remember, again, I took it out. So all I have to do now is just heat it up. Alright, so let's get rocking and rolling. What you need to do first, always, is make sure that you cook whatever takes the longest. Start on that first. So I have my pans here, and I'm planning on using some garlic salt. I ate some at my brother's house, and I loved it. I know I'm supposed to control my salt, but I'm just going to put a little bit on. It's very tasty. And I'm going to use some olive oil. And I have some stock here. I have another jar of stock. This is my homemade stock. It's turkey stock. I don't have any salt in it, so I'll have to season it myself. As far as it has seasoning in it, of course. I just didn't put any salt in it because I like to control the salt intake. So let's get going. Oh, also, before you start getting your food ready, have your oven preset to 400 degrees because we're going to go ahead and we're going to cook our asparagus. So this is what's going to take the longest amount of time, so this is what's going to go in first. And that's my oven. It's telling me that it's done. I'm going to set my timer. I'm going to set it for 15 minutes. Let's see how long. Alright, here's my asparagus. I'm opening it up now. And I'm going to go ahead and section it out. I'm just going to line them up. And I'm going to spray a little bit of oil on it. I'm blocking it. Sorry about that. Let me come at this angle. So I'm going to try to line up the asparagus. And again, remember this is frozen. And the only way I did this is they had asparagus on sale at one time for 99 cents a pound. So I went and I got like 70 pounds of it. So I could be able to have it throughout the year because asparagus is super expensive. So I went ahead and I got a whole bunch of it. And then I vacuum sealed it. Alright. Put some on here. And one thing you could be able to do, like what I could have done is I could have put the oil in the bag and just put the spices on it and spiced it out like that. But it's okay. I'm not going to do that. What I've got here is some olive oil. I'm just going to drizzle some over it. And then right here I have the garlic salt. And you could just do regular salt. I'm going to use some garlic salt. I am infatuated with it and I'm going to use it for now. So I'm just going to pour some in my hand so I can have more of control over it, how much I actually put in. So I'm going to put some in my hand and dry my hands off real quick because I was touching the asparagus and it was wet. And I'm just going to sprinkle some over it. Now I didn't measure it. I'm just putting some in and I have this much more in my hand. I literally just grabbed this much and poured it over. And it seems like I was able to get all of it. I don't want to make it too salty, so I'm going to go ahead and, since I hadn't touched anything on this one, I'm going to go ahead and just put this on back. There we go. Make sure your hands are clean. My hands are definitely clean. This is done. This is going to go inside the oven. Here's my brown rice. I'm opening it up. That's the cool thing about if you prep ahead of time and know what you're making. Normally I have to put it in the microwave because I haven't it's still frozen. But this is going to take 4 minutes to reheat up, which is nice. It's nice to be able to have some inside the refrigerator. So a cool thing is probably rotate it out. If you have your frozen rice, as soon as you cook it, take another frozen rice out so you can have for later on. What I'm going to do now is, I have the lid right here. I'm going to put a little water on the lid, shake off the lid, put water on the lid, pour it out, not inside of here, and then just drip a little bit of water in here just so I can have it a little bit moisturized. But that's going in the microwave. Another thing too, the rice that I just put in there, make sure you don't put the lid on too tight. Just put the lid on. If you don't have your lid, you can use a paper towel, use a plate, whatever you want to use. Just make sure that you don't make it so that it's completely sealed. So I put the lid on it, but I just put it on. I didn't close it. Next here I have my lentils. I'm going to go ahead and put that on in. I'm going to open up my lentils. And it's darker here because I didn't have any liquid on it. I normally take that part off because it doesn't look aesthetically pleasing. So I'm going to open it up. You can listen in. There we go. And then I'm going to take this darker part and I'm going to go ahead and just take it out. And this is some lentils that I've actually canned. There. And you could eat it. I just don't want to. It just don't look as nice. So I just don't. So let me go ahead and pour the rest of this in here. And this is a quart of lentils. And for my lentils, when I canned it, I used onions, garlic, and a little bit of bacon is in here. But like most of the stuff when I can, I don't put salt and stuff because I don't know what I'm going to use it for, and I like to know how much salt I'm putting it in. Because just think about it, just with the stock alone, I could have put salt in that, salt in the beans, and it's just like a lot of salt. So I don't season stuff, I season it at the end while I'm actually using it. So there's the beans there. You can see it's kind of, it's wet, but I'm putting it on the stove so I want to have a little liquid in it. So what I'm going to do is, here's some of the stock that I made. I'm just going to put some in. I put like maybe 1/4 of a cup in, and I'm just going to mix it up a little bit. And since I didn't put any salt in it, I'm going to go ahead and put some of my garlic salt in it. And season to taste. I'm putting a little bit of this stuff in it because I like the taste. So I'm putting some of that in it, mixing it up. That's going to go on the stove. That's done. I'm going to put it on the stove. I'm going to put it on medium high, and I'm just going to wait till it comes to a heat up. It's probably going to take around 1.5 minutes to heat up. I'm going to let it boil for like maybe a minute, and then after that, that's done. Here I have some green beans. I'm going to go ahead and open it up. This is just going to go on the stove. I'm going to have 2 vegetables this time. And this is some that I've already made. I'm just showing you how, I'm just taking you along with me for the ride. This is going on the stove. I'm going to let this go just like the beans. I'm going to put it on medium high. This is going to come to a boil probably in a minute. Alright, now what I have is my pork chops that I've already cooked. All I did was I cooked my pork chops. I seasoned it the way I wanted to season it. But I cook in bulk so that I can be able to just do like what I'm doing right now. I can easily make a quick dinner. So all I'm going to do now is just pour this on out of here. And you see this is already cooked, ready to go. This is some pork. And what I'm going to do now, there's still some stuff inside of there. Not food, that was my rice, it's done. Now what I'm going to do is, where's my stock? I had a stock, here it is. Here's my stock here, another one that I haven't opened yet. I'm going to open it up now, you can listen in. There we go. And I'm just going to put a little bit of stock in there. And I'm going to put a little bit of this seasoning stuff in it. Let me get my spoon so I can mix it around some. And see, this is what I'm talking about. That's why I have the asparagus in there, because it just needs to cook. I'm basically almost done. You can see I'm almost done. So I have this in here. And then what I plan on doing, so I can get all the flavor out of here, is I'm going to pour some of the stock inside the bag that I had the pork in. And I'm just going to swish it around a little bit. And then pour it out. There we go. And I'm just going to mix it some. And this is done. Now I could make it thicker. That'll take me a little bit more time. I'm not going to make it thicker. We have a little bit of stock here, in here, which is the gravy. And I'm okay with it. We're not going to have it. I'm not going to make it thick this time. There we go. I just put a little bit in. I put some of the garlic salt inside of it. Great flavor. And I'm just going to put this on the stove, medium high. And I'm down to 6 minutes at the 15-minute mark. So dinner is basically almost pretty much done. So what I'm going to do now, I have this, and then you can be able to taste it real quick. Yep, that has enough salt in it. I'm going to put a little more in. Don't judge me, please. I just put a little more in. Season it to taste. I'm going to put this on the stove, and I'm just going to let it heat up. And the only thing I'm waiting on now is just the asparagus. I have been cooking officially for 10 minutes. So I'm going to put this on the stove now. We're done with this. Okay, it's been a good time. The rice is done. This is now already coming to a boil. You can see the steam coming out of it. I'm going to give it a little mix. And let it go for about a minute. This right here, the green beans over here, are starting to, oops, almost spilled it, are starting to boil. So I'm going to mix that up a little bit. But this is starting to pop up. You can't see it as well. Anyway, you can take my word for it. It's popping up, so that's done. So this right here, the meat, I just put that on. I have it on medium-high. I could crank it up to high, but I think I'll just do medium-high. I still have 4 minutes left. And at the 2-minute work, at the 10-minute mark, because I wasn't able to get it, it's at 10 minutes I cooked the asparagus. I want to go ahead and put it on broil for a minute as well. So I'm going to wait till I have like maybe 2 minutes. 2 minutes after 2 minutes, then I'm going to go ahead and do that. So let me go ahead and put the lid on this. The beans, the rice, and the green beans are all officially done. And what I also like to do is I put some cheese inside of my beans. It makes it so that it's easier to eat. So I'm going to go ahead and put some in. And again, it's preference, just bring you for the ride, let you know what I do. So I'm putting that in. I put in 3. I think I'm going to put in 4. And I'm just going to give it a stir. I put in 4 slices of cheese into the beans. And I'm just going to mix it up. And that's going to melt pretty sure. So the beans, the green beans are boiling. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it down. I'm going to put it on low. That's done. Remember, this is already all cooked. That's why it's good to cook in bulk. The beans, I'm mixing in the cheese. I'm going to put it back on the burner. A lot of the cheese is already melted. It's pretty much all melted. A good portion of it. I'm just going to put it back on here. Let it go for about a minute. And you can see here, this is already starting to boil a little bit, which is great. It's popping. The meat is, or the green beans are popping. I'm going to stir it. The beans are officially done. I'm going to cut off the stove for the, or put it on low. Or actually, for the beans, I'm just going to cut it off. For this right here, it's going, heating up. And that's all you basically need to do is just have it heat up. So there we go with that. That's done. So I'm going to let that go. And it's at the 2-minute mark. So what I'm going to do now is take out the asparagus. And I'm going to put I could put a little bit of cheese on it. Why not? I'm going to put a little bit of cheese on it and put a little bit. Okay, I'm planning on putting 4 sandwich slices on here. What I'm doing is just cutting it down below. Let me cut that off. Put that on there. And I'm just going to put little layers on. And then this is just going to go inside of the oven for not long at all. Because I have it on broil, so I'm just basically melting the cheese real quick. And what I'm hoping, for a heads up, I wasn't thinking about putting the cheese on it. I should have put barely any seasoning on it. That salt, I hope it's not going to be too salty. Fingers crossed. So not too much salt. I just maybe put it up toward the tips because that's where, you know, everyone loves to eat that part. So I'm going to go and just put this in the thing, and I got, I have some of this bacon that I got from Sam's. I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of it on there. I don't need a whole lot because it already has a lot of salt, so I don't want a lot of bacon. So I have that right there. The little ones may want a little bit more cheese on it. So let me put a little bit more. Just makes it taste better. So mental note, don't put too much salt on it, especially if you're going to be putting all this kind of stuff on it. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and put this inside of the oven for, and it's, I already set it to broil. I set it on there, and it's going to take 1 minute, maybe even 30 seconds, because as soon as you put it in, the cheese is automatically going to melt. But food is done. Alright, here's the food. This is the, take out the timer. This right here is the asparagus. I let that cook for 10 minutes. Remember, it was frozen. And I had it thawed out. So this actually worked out nice. And then I put the cheese on it, and I only kept it in there for 1 minute. We have the green beans done here. The rice is right there. The beans are done. And we have the meat here. it's all heated up and ready to go. So it is ready to eat. And we did this in 15 minutes. We rock, don't we? We rock. Alright, well, I'm going to go ahead and plate it, let you see what it looks like. And alright, here's the food. It's all done and tasty and delicious. Here's my green beans here. Here's the lentils right there. This is the brown rice. And you see it took me 4 minutes. And it's nice, fluffy, and it's perfect. Here's my meat here. It's not dried out. It's nice and moist. I don't know if you can see the liquid coming out of it. It's nice and moist. And then here's the asparagus that I put on top. Trying to make it a little artsy. So anyway, there it is. We have a quick dinner, and it took us 15 minutes to make. And you can't say that this food isn't healthy. We got brown rice. We got a little bit of meat. We have 2 vegetables on the plate instead of 2 starches. And we got some beans, some lentils, which is all really, really good. We have a lot of fiber on the plate. We're eating good. We're taking care of ourselves. And we made a great meal. Now, before I go, on behalf of your friends, family, and loved ones, we thank you. Thanks for all the hard work you do. You make us such great food, and you care about what goes inside of our mouths, our health, our body. We appreciate you, even though we don't get a chance to tell you thank you as much as we'd like to. Thank you. Take care.